We be live! Hello, everybody! Anna's back here with us again. Hi, Anna.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, we missed Anna. Anna was away because of she's busy, but she's back now again. So it's great to have Anna back. I did a show yesterday with Rivka. I don't know if you saw that, but yes. So, guys, we are doing this lady again. We've done some of her videos. She's a new convert. Oh, let me actually turn this off. Whoa, too much light. But she's a new convert to Islam. She's a revert, and she's getting a lot of traction compared to other converts in Islam. She's getting a lot more attention. I wonder why. Anna, do you want to tell us why she specifically is getting? Wait, I'm pointing the wrong direction. Why she's getting more attention that a whole bunch of other people. There are a lot of content creators of new converts to Islam. And again, I will explain to people why they're called reverts instead of converts. I know most of you know by now in the live chat. But again, so for people who are new here, Muslim converts, people who are new Muslims, they call themselves reverts instead of converts, because in Islam, they have this insane idea that everybody was born a Muslim and then society lied to them, their parents lied to them, and that's why we have non-Muslims. So you were all at some point, Muslim. You were all born a Muslim, and then you were guided in the wrong direction, and that's why we have non-Muslims. So that's why when somebody converts to Islam, they're saying they went back to Islam, and that's why they call themselves reverse. They call these people reverse. So she's a Muslim revert. So Anna, explain to the people in the live chat why this new Muslim content creator is getting so much more attention than so many other people.
Well, I think, first of all, because she's an attractive woman, she's white, and a lot of Muslims have like almost fetishism with the white people. And she also made some dumb comments, and I think that the criticisms that she received actually helped her to boost her channel. I mean, also when people criticize you, it can show, oh, people are interested in this content. So yeah, she's receiving a lot of attention. And I think one of the main reasons is probably that she's just white and beautiful.
Yes, there's a obsession with white woman converts. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the reason. Okay, so let's watch what she's saying and then take it part word by word, like second by second, and see where she is wrong and where she's right. She might not be completely wrong about what she's saying. We don't want to be unfair here, right? So let's be charitable and try to see if she's also making some correct points. So let's check.
Is there a death sentence?
Oh, by the way, first, Anna, let's go through it without pausing once, and then we'll come back and then go through it.
Is there a death sentence for those who leave Islam? This is something a lot of people have brought to my attention in the past few weeks. And the word for it is apostasy. So, in other words, leaving Islam and not believing in Islam anymore. Okay, so I think I found an answer in the Quran. So, it says here in Al-Nisa, or 4, Surah 4, 137. As for those who come to believe and then deny the truth, and again come to believe and again deny the truth, and therefore grow stubborn in their denial of the truth, God will never forgive them, nor will he guide them. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that the person is going in and out of belief, okay? It's showing that in the Quran. So if a person were to be killed as soon as they stopped believing or they left Islam, how could they have the opportunity to come into belief and out of belief again, as it is showing in the Quran? So based on the Quran, which is the ruling source for all of Islam over any hadith, I do not find that the death penalty is able to be applied to apostasy or people who leave Islam, because it's saying here in the Quran that people are coming in and out of faith, and they would not be able to do that if they died the first time. And about the second part of this verse, about God never forgiving them or guiding them, this is if they grow stubborn in their denial of the truth. So if someone is dead set on not believing in Allah, Allah is not going to force you to believe in Him, okay? So if your heart is open and you want to find Allah, He's there. But if your heart is closed and you don't want to find Allah, you don't have any intent to find Allah, then He will not force you to.
Okay, so Anna, let's not refer to the Quran and Hadith first, okay? I just want to understand her logic. So we have the Quranic verses. I have a few. Anna sent me a whole bunch. By the way, Allah is our Islamic Ayatollah. First is female Islamic Ayatollah here, like reviewing the Quran and Tafsir and the Hadith and finding relevant verses for us. I got 2 Hadiths and 1 Quranic verse, 2 Quranic verses. She went and found 6 Quranic verses, I think, for us to review here to analyze whether or not what she's saying is true. But I don't want to get into that quite yet. I just want to figure out how she's trying, based on what she just said herself, does what she is saying make sense, right? So she found a Quranic verse that is talking about people going in and out of Islam. And God says that, yeah, these people, I'm not going to forgive them. I'm going to these people are effed, I'm going to destroy, I'm going to make sure that they have a very, very, very bad time in eternal hellfire, right? And she's like, oh, this is great. There can't be any punishment, the death penalty for people who leave Islam, because if there was a death penalty for leaving Islam, how are these people just going in and out of Islam, right? So, this makes complete sense, obviously, if you're an idiot, because if there was such a law in Islam that there was the death penalty for leaving Islam, how does she think that would apply? Like, does she think there's a code written that you just drop dead as soon as you leave Islam? Like, is the Islamic State or the Muslim enforcement of law so effective that they're just going to be able to automatically find and hunt down and destroy everybody who leaves Islam? I mean, I have a question. So right now we do have the death penalty for leaving Islam. So she might argue that that's not Islamic, right? I mean, I'm from a country that leaving Islam, it gets you the death penalty, right? I'm from Iran. And guess what? I left Islam while I was in Iran. And hey, I'm alive. Hello, I'm alive. And I'm not dead. Okay, not yet. And does that mean that there's no death penalty for leaving Islam in Iran? I mean, given her logic, given that while living in Iran, I left Islam, and given that I'm not dead right now, based on her logic, there is no death penalty for leaving Islam in Iran. That's not the law there, apparently, because if there was, I would be dead. Do you understand what I'm saying, Anna? Go on.
Also, if leaving Islam once was without any serious consequences, then why all atheists in Muslim countries, they keep it secret? Why can't they be open atheists
no.
in Pakistan
Anna,
or in...
That's not what she's saying. She's not saying, she's talking about Islam, not Islamic countries, right? So she's not saying there's no consequences for people who are leaving Islam, right? She might acknowledge that, yes, there is, okay? But she's talking about Islam, not what the law is in Islamic countries, right? So if I was like trying to whitewash Islam and yeah, of course, these are Islamic countries. Show me where that's where that is in the Quran, right? So she's saying that the Quran does not endorse killing for apostasy, given that based on the Quran itself, leaving Islam and coming back to Islam was happening. And if they had a death penalty, they would just get wiped out. But that doesn't make any sense, because just because there is a death penalty, that doesn't mean they're going to be able to get every single one of them, and every single one of them are just going to get like drop dead, or just find them and kill every single one of them. Obviously, most of them, especially back then, do you think they had like, what do you think Muhammad had? Like a very effective surveillance system that was just hunting down, like, did they read minds? So if you want to conduct a death penalty on somebody, they have to say that they left Islam. But somebody might leave Islam in their heart, and you're not going to be able to kill them, because they haven't said that they left Islam. Allah said, like, okay, I will take care of them. I will take care of them in hell. But you're not, even though they left Islam, they're not going to die. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying she thinks this contradicts a death penalty in Islam. I'm saying it doesn't. I'm saying even if there is a death penalty in Islam, people could just leave and come back and not get executed, even if there was a death penalty. Does that make sense, what I'm saying, Anna?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. It just, the logic doesn't make sense. So Anna, this is what you're saying is very correct. Like, we have in 13 countries right now, we have the death penalty for people leaving Islam, right? But these are Quranists, or like people like her. They are focusing on the Quran and nothing but. So guys, for people who don't know, a Quranist is somebody that focuses mostly on the either completely on the Quran or only on the Quran. So they either dismiss the Hadith and the Tafsir and the Sirah and the scholarly work on Islam either completely, and they're just like, I'm just going to read the goddamn Quran, or they just try to dismiss it as not very important. And that's what she tries to do. Dismisses that not very important. So that's why when you want to respond to people like this, going and telling them like, oh, well, in Saudi Arabia, they do this. Oh, well, in Iran, they do this. They're like, okay, and they're just evil governments. They don't represent my Allah, my loving and forgiving and kind Allah. They're just like evil governments. They just are misusing religion, right? So you have to the reason why I give you Iran as an example is not to tell people like here that Iran, for example, the government in Iran represents Islam, is to show you that in a place where we have death penalty for people leaving Islam, we have millions of people who have left Islam, right? In Iran, like, Iran is one of the main countries in the world that produces the highest number of apostates, right? While it has a death penalty, Iran has a death penalty, and it produces more apostates than any country in the whole world. So you can see how you could still have the death penalty and still people leaving Islam. So her saying that people leaving Islam means that you didn't have the death penalty makes no sense. But go on, Anna.
Can I say something that will revolutionize your worldview? I actually know much more Iranian atheists than atheists in Israel, which is insane.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
for a country where it is punishable by even death, this is insane. And like here,
actually, it makes sense why you would have a lot of people like, oh, how could people leave Islam in a country where the punishment for leaving Islam is death? Actually, it's because the punishment for leaving Islam is death that people are leaving Islam, because people are finding it ridiculous. People think that people can't leave Islam if the punishment for it is death. No, people, I have done it. I lived in Iran and I left Islam, and the punishment for leaving Islam is death. And you know why so many people leave? Because they have an Islamic theocracy. That's the best way to produce the highest number of atheists or apostates, right? But go on, Anna, you want to say something?
I think any like compulsion, even with hijab, right? If you compare Iran and Pakistan, in Pakistan, the law doesn't require you to wear hijab, but the people, the surroundings, they do. They are more religious in this regard. Like, they will pressure you to do this in Pakistan. So like, the more freedom you have, a lot of times the people, they are either like religious or believe in God, but once you make it compulsory to believe, then they start to be against it. Then they start to question, wait, why should I believe in this? Like, this is ridiculous.
Right. All right. So we got 2 super chats, and then now I want to go into actually figuring out the answer to the question: is there a death sentence for leaving Islam? Right. So let's evaluate this and also analyze everything she's saying word by word. So Roy is saying, I can't be here, but my shekels will. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate that. Okay. And then we have Secular Sakai saying, do you believe that Quranists may be the best bet for secular Muslims to become more commonplace in the Middle East? Do the Hadith cause toxicity? No, actually, I think the Quranists are the worst. The Quranists are worse because they make sure that this religion stays stronger. They find excuses for making it seem like this religion can be tolerated, and this religion should not be tolerated. Yes, it's true that most of the horrible teachings and rules of Islam comes from the Hadith, not the Quran. But at the end of the day, if you give any form of legitimacy to this religion, the Hadith will come back and get you at some point, one way or another. So the Quranists make it easier to give this religion legitimacy, and that's why they're even more dangerous. That's my opinion. So thank you so much, Secular Sakai, for the super chat. Go on, Anna.
I also think that the Quran itself, it has so many horrible things in it that it's actually dangerous to read it literally without looking into tafsirs and hadiths, because like the Quran, for example, says that the punishment for fornication is 100 lashes in public. Imagine like 100 lashes for just having a boyfriend, for example. This is for fornication, okay? Fornication is sex before marriage. Just for having a boyfriend, it's only 100 lashes. Yeah, it's insane.
Got it. Right. So let me actually show you this screen. We've been demonetized, guys. I don't know what we said that got us demonetization. I just wanted to check and see if we're still monetized for the stream. I mean, right at the beginning, we're demonetized. So I just want to appreciate the people who use the super chat, because it's the super chats that is helping us continue, given that every goddamn, like, we're getting more demonetized now more than before. So again, I'm going to request for a review. I'm going to appeal this demonetization. But again, as a reminder, it takes 2 or 3 days for YouTube to check and maybe remonetize the stream. But by then, we probably have lost most of our we have most of the people who would have watched the stream have already watched it, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But anyways, I did request a review. I just want to show you guys how grateful we are for the people who do use the super chat, because that is the only reason why it makes sense for us to spend so much time doing these live streams. Anyways, let's go back to her and this time evaluate it. You see what she's saying and evaluate whether what she's saying is true or not. Okay?
Sentence for those who leave Islam. This is something a lot of people have brought to my attention in the past few weeks, and the word for it is apostasy. So in other words, leaving Islam and not believing in Islam anymore. Okay, so I think I found an answer in the Quran. So it says here in Al-Nisa, or 4, Surah 4, 137. As for those who come to believe and then deny the truth, and again come to believe and again deny the truth, and therefore grow stubborn in their denial of the truth, God will never forgive them, nor will he guide them. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that the person is going in and out of belief, okay? Right. It's showing that in the Quran. So if a person were to be killed as soon as they stopped believing or they left Islam, how could they have the opportunity to come into belief and out of belief again?
Because there's 3 reasons, okay? Because the Quran doesn't install a code within people that when they leave Islam, they just drop dead, okay? So there are a lot of people. So even if the punishment for leaving Islam is apostasy, the punishment for apostasy was the death penalty, so many people will not be discovered. So many people would leave Islam in their hearts and in their minds, and they will not utter a word. And so many people might leave Islam, and the way for you to execute them is to have a court, have witnesses, and all of that, and maybe they will repent. Okay, so there's a whole process, right? Especially, so there's two types of people. Let's say you have Islamic law in the land, right? Will you just there, and you have the death penalty for people leaving Islam. There are two types of people who leave Islam who will not die. People who will leave Islam and they will tell other people that they left Islam, but they will tell a few groups of people and their friends, and nobody would rat them out, and they will still live. And there are also people who will not tell anybody, who in their mind they will like, yeah, this is nonsense, I'm not a Muslim anymore, but they will not tell a single person. So they will also stay alive. So this Quranic verse could be applying to these two groups of people. There you go. So this does not contradict the death penalty. Go on.
And also, like an Islamic state, it can't wash every single person. And like
right.
Oftentimes you just can't implement a punishment, even if it exists.
Right. Exactly. That's a good point, right? Sometimes maybe people, so you figure out that somebody has left Islam, but the state does not have enough, enough power or enough high enough force to be able. Maybe there's a wave. For example, in Iran right now, there's a wave of people leaving Islam. And the state is just like, I can't just kill all these people. Technically, almost half of the population of Iran needs to be executed right now if you want to apply Islamic law. So sometimes, that's the third reason. That's exactly right. And so here's the thing: the way for you to, she's trying to do this. We have the Islamic law that tells you the punishment for leaving Islam is the death penalty. You get that from Hadith. You don't get that from the Quran. And I will show you the relevant hadith, authentic hadith, Islamic hadith, both Shia Islam and Sunni Islam. Right? They both say this. So for you to say this hadith is wrong, because the Quran trumps the hadith, you have to show something in the Quran that contradicts this rule. So that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to find, I don't know if she thinks she's a mujtahid, and she knows more than, 1,300 years worth of Islamic scholarship put aside. Like, you just step aside, everybody. A new mujtahid is the doors of ijtihad have opened, and she just has a new tafsir has just dropped. And it's amazing how she thinks that this has not came across anyone's mind. Like, she's like, oh, look, I found a Quranic verse that contradicts that hadith. So that hadith is now null. I mean, lady, how arrogant do you have to be to think all these native Arab-speaking Islamic scholars have never put these two together? Like, don't you think, like, maybe I'm not making sense here? I'm offended on behalf of Muslims right now. Right? To think that if I was a Muslim, I'm like, okay, you think the entire Islamic world for 1,300 years did not notice this, and we were just waiting for you to show up and convert to Islam, and within half an hour, like, how long have you been a Muslim? Has it been 5 minutes or something? And then within 5 minutes of you becoming a Muslim, you have discovered an interpretation, a tafsir of the Quran that, I think Muslim world just come together and be like, oh my God, thank you, lady. Thank you for becoming a Muslim. We're all just such idiots. This is okay, I don't want to say this, but is this like a white savior complex here happening here? Dear Muslims, I have arrived. Let me tell you something that you didn't understand about your religion. But go on, yes.
I want to say to you, even if she was like right, and you can leave Islam without any consequences, and then come back to Islam, and then only if you persist, then what? Like, if you persist, then still there will be consequences, even according to her.
Yes, I'll get to that. I will get to that. We have all those verses that we Yeah, but let's focus on the death penalty and then also say that the consequences, right? So let's go to the hadith. Actually, let me show you. Let me play this part that she makes that point
again, as it is showing in the Quran. So based on the Quran, which is the ruling source for all of Islam over any.
No, it's not the ruling source for all of Islam. I mean, this is Islamic 101, lady. Okay, come on, you don't even understand this. The source of Islamic rulings are the Quran and the Sunnah. And the Sunnah are the actions and sayings of Muhammad, right? And where do you get that mostly? You get that from authentic hadith. So it's not all. In fact, the majority of it, lady, is from the hadith, not from the Quran. So she should have said it's from the Quran and the Sunnah, but the Quran trumps the hadith. If something is in the Quran and it contradicts something in the hadith, you will say that hadith is, no, it's wrong. It must be a wrong hadith because the Quran has said something that contradicts it. So for you to dismiss a hadith, especially an authentic Sahih hadith, for you to be able to dismiss it, you have to show a Quranic verse that contradicts that. But you haven't done that here. So the hadith stands. I will show you the hadith. The hadith stands because the Quranic verse that you showed us doesn't effectively contradict it. So let me actually show you I will show you two hadiths. There's a lot of hadiths for this, by the way. Maybe this one is a good one. Right. So Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alayhi, said, by the way, Allah's Messenger is Muhammad, and this is the whole sallallahu alayhi wa sallam shown in Arabic here. Okay. So this is Muhammad says, the blood of a Muslim who confesses that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that I am his apostle, I mean his prophet, cannot be shed except in three cases. So all of this mumbo jumbo here says you can't kill a Muslim. Okay, so the reason why I say you can't kill a Muslim is because you technically can kill other people, right? I mean, again, YouTube, I'm not saying this. This is Islam. I'm just telling you this is why we get demonetized, guys. Oh, we got 2 more super chats. Thank you. I will read those very quickly. But so this first part is just a long way of saying don't kill Muslims. That's all it's saying. Except in 3 cases. So you can kill Muslims, but other than 3 cases. And again, this is Muhammad saying this. This is Muhammad. And again, this is Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari. Sahih, what do you mean? You know what Sahih means? Sahih means authentic. That when something is marked as Sahih, means that this is part of Islam. It means you cannot separate this from Islam. This is an authentic part of Islam. That's what Sahih means. And Bukhari means that this is one of the main sources of Islamic hadith. This is the most authentic. Not only this is authentic, Bukhari is one of the most authentic. Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslims are the top 2, right? So this is Islam. You cannot separate this from Islam. So based on this, there are 3 types of people who you can kill. Either it's qasas for murder. So if somebody commits murder and the people who are the family of the person who you killed want you to die as a punishment. Okay, so that's number 1, right? A married person who commits illegal sexual intercourse. So that's number 2. You can kill that Muslim, apparently, according to Muhammad. This is Prophet Muhammad again. I'm not saying this, YouTube. And the number 3. And the one who reverts from Islam, an apostate. There we go. That's me. Hey, hi, Muhammad. You're talking about me. Okay? So this is number 3. And leaves the Muslims, right? An apostate. There you go. This is authentic hadith. So the only way you could show that this hadith is wrong is to find a Quranic verse that says, like, yeah, no, don't do that. And that's what she was trying to do. And what she's saying makes no sense. I don't know if she has the IQ of a 5-year-old, but I think it was obvious to most of you how what she was saying does not contradict this. So because it doesn't contradict it, it stands, right? And here's another hadith. And again, this is also Sahih Bukhari. This is Ali, by the way. Ali, Hazrat Ali, which is the first Imam of Shias and the fourth Khalifa of Sunnis burned some people alive. By the way, Anna, do you know what it doesn't say it here, but do you know why Ali burned them alive? Do you know the context of this? Because I know this is
I
one of the
don't.
few times that
I
this is
don't
one of
know
the
the
few times
context,
that
but
they were atheists. They were atheists. This is one of the few times that atheists were
forbidden
mentioned in the
to. It is forbidden to punish by fire. Like this is forbidden in Islam. That only God
Well,
can punish by fire.
yeah, that's what I'm about to read. Like, so basically Ali, which is supposed to be a ma'asum and doesn't do anything wrong, killed people by burning them alive, right? And that's no good because that's Allah's way of killing people, and you should find other ways to kill people, apparently, or punish people, right? So Abbas said, had I been in his place, I would not have burnt them, as the Prophet Muhammad basically said, don't punish anybody with Allah's punishment. No doubt I would have killed them, for the Prophet said, if somebody, a Muslim, discards his religion, kill him. Right. So he's like, okay, this one is also saying somebody who is, discarding Islam, you should kill them. So this is another hadith that shows that that's the punishment. But it also says, if you do kill them, don't kill them by burning them alive, because that's Allah's way of punishing people. Right. So we should go to the Quranic verses, right, Anna? That especially the ones that you sent me. Oh no, first we should go to the super chats. Cleo saying demonetization is the price of success. Okay, thank you, Cleo. By the way, thank you guys for the super chats. We do need them, so if you can give us super chats, because like I showed you, the stream has been demonetized, and I've been a very, very naughty boy. I'm talking about really bad things, killing and stuff. Again, not my views, but I'm supposed to. Why am I getting punished for Muhammad's words? Why are we? I mean, these are not my words. Why demonetize Muhammad? YouTube, go demonetize Muhammad. It's his words. I'm not saying these things. We got another super chat by Bull McLeod. Yeah, Muhammad is a very naughty boy. Bull McLeod is saying funding for Armin's Mossad membership fee. Oh, Anna, you guys have membership fees for joining Mossad?
Not that I know of. I think they pay you for the, like, they pay you in order for you to work there. I think this is how it goes. Like,
I mean, I knew Israel's economy. I knew Israel's economy is like struggling right now, but I didn't know you guys are so desperate that now you're charging membership for joining Mossad. Okay. Raphael saying, my Muslim friend who told me there is no penalty for converts to leave Islam and can leave anytime with no criteria. They won't be labeled as apostates. Well, go, Raphael. Go show your Muslim friend this stream. In fact, guys, if you don't want to send us super chats like Raphael did here, so thank you so much for the super chats, just share the stream with people so that they become informed about how insane and barbaric and violent Islam is. Share the stream, or at least like the stream. Guys, like the stream, because when we get demonetized, we also get deprioritized. And if you like the stream, more people, it will help undo the deprioritization, and more people will end up seeing the stream. So please go ahead, spend half a second. I promise it doesn't take long. Just like the stream. Thank you so much. All right, Anna, let's do the Quran verses. Let's do this one first, right? So this one is saying, whoever disbelieves in Allah after his belief, so first believe and then disbelieve, so coming out of religion, except for one who is forced to renounce his religion, while his heart is secure in faith. So if you said, like, I left Islam, but you didn't mean it, but you were forced to say it, okay? But those who willingly open their breasts to disbelief, upon them is wrath from Allah, and for them is a great punishment. So this is that lady herself. What's her name? I forgot. She herself mentioned a Quranic verse that tells you that God is going to be very, very angry. You're a naughty boy if you have left religion. I'm going to be very angry with you, and I'm going to make sure that you burn forever, right? So she mentioned a Quranic verse. This is another Quranic verse that also says that, and this is in the Quran. So as Anna was mentioning, there is no Quranic verse specifically that tells you what the punishment for leaving Islam is in this life. I mean, there's hadith that tells you that. There's authentic hadith that tells you, but the Quranic verse tells you what will happen to you in the next life. And Anna, what do you think about this? Because a lot of people are like, okay, we don't care about that. We don't believe in the afterlife. So we just care that what they say about what they're going to do to us in this life. So what do you say about that?
Well, I really don't know how to react to this, because like the whole point of Islam is the afterlife, right? And if Islam tells you that this group of people, these apostates, are going to be burned in hell, and it tells this in other places in the Quran, then you already start to hate these people, because they are spreading corruption in Muslim lands. They might lead people astray. They might make other Muslims come out of the belief. And then because of these guys, these evil apostates, other Muslims are going to be also tortured to in the afterlife if they come after these apostates. Like, these people are basically making others suffer, and by their actions, they are almost like criminals.
Right. So this is what I would say, right? So this lady right here, she's trying to show that Islam is not that bad, right? I mean, and she reads a Quranic verse herself that tells you that God's wrath will be upon you, right? But to try to show us that Islam is not bad, she's trying to show us that there is no death penalty in this life for somebody who leaves Islam, while also admitting herself that they're going to be in a lot of trouble when they die. So it's true that I don't believe in afterlife, but lady, you do. So you're worshiping a monster. So how does this, even if we throw away the hadith, let's just throw away the hadith and say like there is no hadith and just only focus on the Quran. Why is she focusing on the dunya rather than the akhirat? As a Muslim, you're supposed to focus mostly on the afterlife rather than this life. At the end of the day, you believe in a God that has a horrible punishment for leaving Islam. So there's two punishments. In this life, what are you supposed to do if somebody leaves Islam? Execute them. In the next life, Allah is going to do to them if they leave Islam? Burn them forever. I ask you, which one is worse? Cutting someone's head or burning them forever? I would say burning them forever is a lot more monstrous, is a lot more evil. So you are trying to say, like, my Allah is not bad. We're not supposed to cut their heads. Let's dismiss the hadith and focus on the Quran. I mean, lady, cutting someone's head is a blessing compared to burning somebody forever. So it's true that I don't believe in your hell, but given that you believe in hell, you're worshiping a monster. Somebody just changed their opinion. Somebody just decided that they don't believe in this book. Your Quran says, like, yeah, I'm going to make sure you suffer forever. How would that, let's say, even if Islam is true, how does this punishment fit the crime? Okay, I was wrong. What the hell? Why would you burn somebody forever just because they're wrong? How does that make sense? Go on, Anna.
I also want to reiterate that Islam is also a community thing. And in the same surah, also in ayah number 88, you can see that Allah will increase the punishment of the disbelievers because of the corruption they are causing. Now, what is this corruption? The corruption of the surroundings. So as a Muslim, you are supposed to hate apostates because they are making other Muslims disbelievers. They are dangerous to society. Of course, YouTube is not like what I think. Okay, apostates are good to society.
Right. So let's go to more Quranic verses because it's actually worse. I know it's hard to believe that it's worse, but it is a lot worse. So it would be bad enough. So there's three parts, okay? first of all, we have Hadith, not the Quran. The Quran doesn't tell you what the punishment for leaving Islam is. It's the Hadith that tells you that. And I showed you the Hadith. In this life, it doesn't show you what the punishment is. The Quran shows you what the punishment is for leaving Islam in the afterlife, which is eternal punishment of torture and wrath of God, right? The third part is, it's not even your choice. You don't even have any say in this. So what is worse than punishing somebody for coming to the wrong conclusion by burning them forever? It seems like you can't get any worse than this, but for some reason, the Quran makes it worse. The Quran makes it worse by making sure that God decided for you to not have leave Islam. God has already chosen for you to be an atheist or an apostate or whatever. It was a lot like you're going to be tortured forever in the most agonizing pain based on something that God has predetermined for you. And I will show you the Quranic verse. But go on, Anna. I see you want to say something.
Well, maybe
no?
First of all, can you please show the 1688 about the corruption that apostates cause?
I don't have that ready. No. I mean, let's. No, I believe you. Let's focus on this one right now, okay? Because I want to show you, because we're already getting to the 1 hour mark, so I want to just go through these Quranic verses really quickly, all right? So look at this one, 24, 21, right? Say, all you who have believed, do not follow the footsteps of Satan, and whoever follows the footsteps of Satan, indeed he enjoys immortality and wrongdoing, and if not, for the favor of Allah upon you and his mercy, not one of you would have been pure ever, but Allah purifies whom he wills, and Allah is hearing and knowing. This is one of the many Quranic verses that tells you that whoever gets pure is because Allah has chosen them. And there's another one here. Is this the one? Let me read this. And we curse them for their breaking of the covenant and their disbelief in the signs of Allah and their killing of the prophets without right. And they're saying, okay, so that's, and without right. And they're saying our hearts are wrapped, i.e. sealed against reception. Rather, so they're wrong. Rather, Allah has sealed them because of their disbelief. So they believe not except for a few. Again, so this is again another verse that says Allah has decided, seal their hearts so that they remain in disbelief, so they will not believe, right? And here's another one. Allah has set a seal upon their hearts and upon their hearing and over their vision in a veil, and for them is a great punishment. It's insane. Even Allah, right after it said, like, I'm going to punish them, even though I put a seal on their hearts and their vision and their hearing. Like, I made sure that they don't get the message. I made sure that they would not become Muslims. I made sure that they become not believers. I sealed their hearts and their eyes and their ears and everything. And yeah, I'm going to punish them. What the hell? Are you insane? Like, why? What? How is this not? How could anybody be a Muslim seeing this? This is a monster. Go on, Anna. You want to say something?
So the explanation to such verses, what I have seen, is that Allah guides only those who believe in Him. So first you have to believe in Allah, and then only He will decide whether He guides you or not. So
No. It's wrong. The Quran makes it very clear multiple times that God, chooses who believes. It's not like you're already decided beforehand whether or not you believe or not. That's what Quran, and it's not just the Quran, the tafsir commentary and the hadith also on that makes it very clear that that's what the Quran is saying. I mean, and she gets it wrong here, but hold on, let me bring her back up because she comments on this. But also let me read some super chats. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats. Again, we need these super chats to be able to continue because as you see, we keep constantly get demonetized, and these super chats really, really help us continue. So thank you for that. So NBGS TV is saying, YouTube aggressively prevents me from writing what I wanted to write. Thank you for all you do. Oh yeah, thank you. YouTube is very censorial if he does it. They don't like your comment. But thank you so much for your super chat. And then we got it. Wow, a $30 super chat. Thank you so much. The responding to Allah is saying there is no compulsion in YouTube. Yes, there's no compulsion. Thank you so much for the super chats. And again, these super chats have already made up for the fact that we've been demonetized. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, I'm going to comment about the no compulsion in religion as well. But she has an interpretation of the sealing of heart things herself here.
I do not find that the death penalty is able to be applied to apostasy or people who leave Islam. Because it's saying here in the Quran that people are going in and out of faith, and they would not be able to do that if they died the first time. And about the second part of this verse, about God never forgiving them or guiding them, this is if they grow stubborn in their denial of the truth. So if...
Nope, she's putting it the other way around. They have grown stubborn, okay, because God seals them. God has already decided for them. That's what the Quran says.
Someone is dead set on not believing in Allah.
No.
Allah is not going to force you to believe in Him, okay?
It's the other way around. If you don't believe in Allah, it's because Allah has technically forced you not to believe in Him, okay? This is predeterminism, okay? This is God. In Islam, God has determined everything already. So she got it the other way around.
So if your heart is open and you want to find Allah, He's...
See, you say if your heart is open, but Allah decides whose heart is open.
There. But if your heart is closed and you don't want to find Allah, you don't have any intent to find Allah, then He will not force you to.
Bullcrap. Go on, Anna.
You are too harsh upon her because the Quran contradicts itself on this topic. Like it says to you,
right,
don't follow Satan, follow Allah, follow God's messenger. Yet He says also with that, God is choosing who to purify. God is choosing who will believe. God is putting seals on their hearts so they are not believing. So the Quran itself is contradicting, and she's probably getting influenced by the part that says, please believe in Allah, and not by the parts that God is choosing who will believe in Him.
Yes, I wonder why the Quran contradicts itself. A lot of people try to defend the Quran and be like, oh, here's another verse that contradicts that, so you're wrong about that verse. I'm like, oh, really? It contradicts the other verse, so that I must have interpreted it wrong. No, you idiot. The Quran, as Anna is pointing out, is full of contradictions. It's you who believe that there cannot be no contradictions. So this is what they do. So they have a Muslim mindset. They find another verse that contradicts my interpretation of this verse, and they're like, okay, so your interpretation is wrong. They're like, oh, no, it is within your ideology that there should be no contradiction. Within my ideology and Anna's ideology, this is a man-made book, so there is contradiction because there are contradictions in the Quran, like every other sacred book. This verse. So this one is Surah 3, Ayah 90 is saying, indeed, those who disbelieve, i.e. reject the message, after their belief and then increase in disbelief, never will their claimed repentance be accepted, and they are the ones astray. Wow. So this one, if you are Muslim and then leave Islam, and then you become more a hardcore atheist like me, even if I ask for repentance, it will never be accepted of me, and I'm going to God is going to punish me very badly, severely. Here's another one. Those who disbelieved and averted others from the way of Allah, like me, we will increase them in punishment over their punishment for what corruption they were causing. Okay. Here's another one. Fight against those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah has and His messengers have made unlawful, and who do not adopt their religion of truth, i.e. Islam, from those who were... Yeah, so that's the rest of it. That's important. So you're supposed to fight the people who don't believe in Allah. And here's another one. Never think that the disbelievers are causing failure to Allah upon the earth. Their refuge will be the fire, and how wretched the destination. So yeah, if you do not believe in Allah, you are going to go to hellfire. Pretty clear, pretty straightforward. So Anna, what do you think about these verses?
I mean,
Very nice, huh? Very loving.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with hadiths about apostasy in Islam, but just reading those verses, especially like the very last one with the fire, it's so
Right, this one?
brutal. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's
Wretched the
very
destination.
brutal, and it's so just disgusting. I don't know how there are still Muslims living out there.
I don't know.
If it was my religion, I would be a little bit well, maybe not ashamed, but embarrassed. Yeah, embarrassed.
Yes, I would be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you if you're a Muslim and reading these verses. I mean, you're worshiping a monster. Like, oh, you're not supposed to kill apostates. Even if that was true, your God is going to burn them forever, and you're worshiping that. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You're worshiping a monster. Come on, stop it. Stop. All right, so the whole no compulsion in religion. That is true in Islam. There is no compulsion in religion, right? There is a verse on that. However, what that verse means is that you are not forced to be a Muslim, right? Technically, you're forced, but I will tell you why. But you are forced. Hold on, let me make this point. But you are forced to follow Islamic laws. So, again, this gets a little bit detailed. If you're Ahlul Kitab, means you're a Christian or a Jew, technically, you could live in Islamic land without being a Muslim, as long as you pay the jizya, as long as you follow Islamic law. You are not forced to convert to Islam. You can still remain a Christian or Jew. If under Islamic law, if you are anything but, then you're kind of screwed. If you're like not a Muslim, not a Christian, not a Jew, you have to pick one of these things or get the hell out or die. I would call that forcing people. But here's the thing: there's a punishment for you not being a Muslim in the afterlife. You will burn forever and ever and ever if you are a Christian or a Jew or anything else other than a Muslim. So I don't know if you could call that forcing people, because it's kind of like, yeah, you get to stay a Christian or a Jew or not a Muslim. You will burn forever. I'm not forcing you to be a Muslim, but if you don't pick this option, you'll burn forever. So it really depends on what you mean by force. But the part where there is a compulsion is following Islamic law. So if the law of the land is Islam, even if you're not a Muslim, the part that you're not forced into is to convert to Islam. The part that you are forced to, so when it says there's no compulsion in religion, that means there's no compulsion in choosing Islam as a religion. But there is a compulsion in staying a Muslim once you choose Islam as a religion, because then there's no backseas. If you go out of it, then you're screwed. And there's also a compulsion in making sure that you follow the Islamic law of the land. So choosing the religion, no compulsion. Following the Islamic rules, compulsion. Go on, Anna.
Well, actually, please, can you bring back the Surah 9:29? We just showed it a couple of minutes ago. Surah 9:29. Right. It says to fight the disbelievers. Here, actually, it's very important. Fight against those who do not believe in Allah. Okay, so basically it means to fight against the polytheists, the people who don't believe. And about the people of the scripture, that means Christians and Jews, fight until they give jizya, which means money, until they pay money willingly, right, while they are humbled. Now, I looked at what while they are humbled means. That means while you after you massacre enough people that they are very weak, then it's okay for them. Yes. Yes,
Yeah, no,
they should be
no.
weak under your rule. They should be weak under your rule, the
I
Christians and
know
Jews.
this verse, and I know this verse, and there's a whole bunch of there's libraries written on what this by humbled means. Okay, so
Okay, well,
um, so what it means when while they're humbled. So first of all, you can see that there's a way out for you. Like if you don't believe in Allah, um, we're not gonna kill you if you pay us, and while you're humbled. Okay, so while they're humbled could mean like after we crushed you, right? Like Anna just said. Okay, but for a lot of Islamic rulers before, they because a lot of them inherited Islamic states that had Christians and Jews living under them. So they didn't need to humble them anyways, because there was no war. They were just living Christians and Jews just living there, right? So a lot of times their understanding was of humbled means that you need to ridicule and make them feel like crap while you take that money from them. Again, I'm not saying this is the actual interpretation. There are disagreements over what this means, but sometimes, so for example, Anna, the Islamic State, when they sent you somebody to collect money from a Jew, they made sure that they were rude to him. They made sure that they humiliated him. They made sure that sometimes they physically abused them, as long as they felt humbled in some way, right? So again, this could mean so many different things. There's no one meaning of what this. It's all. By the way, here's the thing, Anna. It's all disgusting, right? I'm not defending this. There are many different interpretations of what this means. It's just all disgusting, but there are different interpretations of it. But go ahead.
so basically, it means while we crush them, which is the first one, or while we make them feel unworthy and like treat
crap.
them very poorly. Yeah.
Yes.
This is
yes,
like the
yes.
two options. So when you say there is no compulsion in religion, then it means if you are a Jew or a Christian, the
Right.
best option for you is living a life where
Becoming a
there
Muslim.
is discrimination against you always,
Right,
like on a
right.
state level.
So yeah,
And
so
paying
technically
money.
that's kind of like force. That's kind of like force. You're like, you're not forced to become a Muslim, but I'm gonna treat you like crap while you're not a Muslim, right? So it's kind of, I know what it's like. It's kind of like if you're like robbing somebody in the streets and you come and put a gun on their head and be like, give me your money or I'll shoot you. And you're like, why are you forcing me to give me your money? Give you my money. I'm like, I'm not forcing you. You could choose the option of being shot. This is not force. There's no compulsion in being robbed here. The option of dying is also available for you.
Yeah, and also like for polytheists, there is no option available. Polytheists should all die according to Islam.
Right. Anyway, so just wanted to give you some context and what all of these means. No compulsion, whether the death penalty is applied. It is in Islam or it's not in Islam. Quranically, based on this Sunnah, based on the Quran, what disgusting things could you get? By the way, here's the thing: what people are saying, when they're trying to defend Islam, they're like, "Oh no, this disgusting thing that you're saying doesn't come specifically from the Quran." Like, yeah, okay, it comes from your Hadith, yes, but the Quran itself is disgusting enough without the Hadith for us to be able to embarrass you for being a Muslim, even if you're a Quran only Muslim. Okay, don't worry. There's plenty. You think you could get away from us just because you only focus on the Quran? No. Your Quran by itself is monstrous and disgusting and evil, and we already have a lot to play with over there. Go on, Anna.
Actually, it's much easier to destroy Quranists because with Hadiths, people can say, "Oh, it's not relevant. It's not Sahih. It's not I don't know." But with Quran, no one can say this. If you are a Muslim, you can't. Like with Hadiths, Shia Hadiths are different from Sunni Hadiths, and Shias say, "Oh no, Sunni Hadiths are not reliable," and Sunnis say Shia Hadith, like, what is this even? They don't even know about the existence of Shia Hadith. But with Quran, it's so much easier.
It is. We have, with all of them, it's easy, to be honest. All right, so we got a new member. Thank you so much, Eddie. Again, people who become members, that's going to help us out to be able to continue doing what we're doing. So thank you for everybody who's becoming a YouTube member. I am going to have shows that are, you know, for members only as a way to thank you guys. So appreciate that. Oh, Eddie also just gave us a super chat, 15 shekels from Israel. Thank you so much, Eddie, saying keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Eddie. This is great. We're getting a lot bigger audience from Israel recently. So that's awesome. By the way, speaking of getting an audience from Israel, some people are calling us out saying, oh, let's talk about the Talmud. We will. Do you think we will shy away from that? No. We're atheists here. Okay. We will cover the Talmud at some point as well. Right. Should we do that, Anna? Like we could go and find like weird stuff in the Talmud and do a show on it. Should we do that?
To be honest, I think that you are probably more knowledgeable than me about the Talmud because I was never religious, so I didn't read the Talmud as much. Yeah.
Right. Guys, tell us, especially people from Israel, would you be interested in a show like that? Because the Talmud has a lot of crazy stuff. Yes, as Susanna is saying, yes, please. Yes, let's do that. So, guys, if you think that would be a good show to do, leave a comment under because a lot of people think we're afraid. A lot of people don't know our history, how consistent we've been against all religions. You know, we've been anti-Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. We're like we are actually planning a show against Zoroastrianism on our Persian channel. So we do not discriminate. We will come for all your nonsense. We will come for all your sacred cows. We make, you know, Atheist Republic is in the business of making burgers out of sacred cows. That's what we do here. So by the way, if you guys want to see that, because we are doing the Talmud on the Persian show, but if you want us to do this on the English show, please leave a comment. Let us know that you want us to do that, because your comments, by the way, really help. So, guys, the people who don't want to support us financially, you still can support us without spending a single cent. You could like the stream. Do that right now. Once the stream is over, you could leave a comment. You could subscribe, hit the bell notification. Share this video. Tell people to come and subscribe to the Atheist Republic channel and share this video with as many people as you can. Tell your friends and your enemies, especially your enemies, that they need to come here and talk to us. Be in the live chat. Leave a comment. All right? Okay, guys. Good. See you again soon. Bye. Mwah.
Bye.